Good day, students. Welcome to A Plus Model Schools Epetu Model. My name is Taylor Samson Adeshino, and I will be your biology tutor for today. Last week, we talked about reproductive system in vertebrates 1, reproductive system in vertebrate 1, and we mentioned series of things. We couldn't complete the class last week, so I promised you last week that we will continue this week. But we need to refresh our mind and brain on what we discussed last week. Last week we treated a subtopic now called reproductive system in vertebrates. There we talk about the male reproductive system of birds, which is cock. We said they consist of a pair of testes found near the kidneys. We talk about a typical female bird. We talk about the pigeon. Talk about the male reproductive system in mammals. What they consider, we said they consider the male sex organ as which are the testes, the female sex organ which are the ovaries. Talk about the parts and function of male and female birds, the reproductive system of birds. We saw the diagram of a male reproductive system. We saw the functions of some part of the male reproductive system, the testes, the vas deferens, the penis, the oviducts, the Cowper's gland and the prostate gland. We talked about the part of the female reproductive system, and which is the ovary, oviducts, their function. We saw the diagram of the female reproductive system. We talked about the uterus, the cervix, and the vagina. Now, today, we'll be talking about structures of the male and female gametes. Structure of the male and female gametes. First, we need to know what a gamete is. What a gamete is and how it looks like. The human mammalian gamete is shaped like tadpole, made up of a head with a nucleus and a tail, which is the flagellum. The sperm is about 60 micrometers long. It's microscopic and usually smaller than the female gamete. So the male gamete is the sex organ, or let me say the tadpole-like that has a nucleus and a tail, which is called flagellum, and which can also call it a sperm. And the description here is about 60 micrometers long. That means you cannot see it with your eyes. Micrometers. It is microscopic and usually smaller than the female gamete. It is not bigger as the male gamete. So the male gamete can also be called the sperm. It can also be called the sperm. And this is what fertilizes the egg, which is the female gamete. Now here is the diagram of how a human sperm cell looks like. You can see it's like a tadpole. The description that we have above, it's like a tadpole. It's shaped like tadpole. You can see the head. The round part is the head, and the tail, which is also the flagellum. Now, I believe you should be able, from our previous class, you should be able to state what is the function of the sperm duct in male birds. I think we discussed that last class. Why is the mammalian male penis described as a urogenital organ? I need you to answer that. You check that up. By what means are sperm transformed from the male bird to the female bird? I think we've discussed that too last week. So I just need you to check yourself if you really understand what we've been saying. Now let's move to the female gamete. Sorry for that, the female gamete. Let's see how it looks like. The human mammalian female gamete is also microscopic. You cannot see it with your eyes, but it's larger or bigger than the sperm. It is bigger than the sperm. The ovum, as it is called, that means the female gamete, is about 0.1 millimeter. You know that one is micrometer. So this one is 0.1 millimeter in diameter. It consists of the cytoplasm, That one only consists of the what? The nucleus, which is and the head, and the what? And the tail, which is the flagellum. This one consists of cytoplasm, a central nucleus, a granules, and a yolk droplet. The yolk serves as a source of nourishment for the embryo. That means the yolk that it has as a source of what? Nourishment for the embryo. While the tail serves, which is the flagella, serves as a means of movement for the what? For the male sperm. It helps the sperm to what? To move or to swim. But the yolk part here serves as a source of what? Nourishment for the embryo in its early developmental stages. Then when the embryo is developing, the yolk helps to what? To nourish the embryo. The cytoplasm of the ovum is surrounded by a double membrane. The inner membrane is the plasma membrane, while the outer one is the what? The Vitelline membrane. The inner membrane of the cytoplasm is what? Is the plasma membrane, while the outer one is the what? The Vitelline membrane. The ovum is bounded on the outside by a jelly coat of variable thickness made up of glycoprotein. The ovum, I'm taking that again. The ovum is bounded on the outside by a jelly coat of variable thickness made up of glycoprotein. These are just the description of how a female gamete looks like. The nuclei of both male and female gametes contains chromosomes that carries the genes which are responsible for passing on parent character to the offspring. So this is where the resemblance comes in when a father gives birth to a child or a mother gives birth to a child, and you are seeing a kind of reflection of the father on the child, maybe the way they behave, maybe the way they do things. Where this gene is being transferred is inside the what? Inside the nucleus or the nuclei of both male and female gametes. And this chromosome there is a chromosome present in the nuclei which carries the gene from a response which are responsible for passing on parent characteristics to the offsprings. Now this is a typical diagram of how a ovum looks like. You can see the egg, a ovary releasing a ovum, which is the egg in the reproductive system of a female animal. Sorry for that. Now, after this, I think we should be able to check. Maybe we understand what we just did. Draw and label the male gametes of a mama. You can consult your textbook or online to check this out. I need you to draw and label the male gametes of a mama. Snap it and send it to me. I need this as an assignment. Only that one. Draw and label the male gametes of a mama. What is the function of the nucleus in the male and the female gamete? I think we just discussed that the function of the nucleus in the male and female gamete. Describe the structure of the female gametes in mammals. Describe the structure of the female gametes in mammals. I think we have a diagram there too that describes the structure of the female gametes in mammals. You should be able to do that easily. Now, another subtopic is we want to check the difference between the male and the female gamete. Sorry for the logo, the school logo covered and there. So difference between male and female reproductive organs. We want to check the difference between male and female reproductive organs. There are differences and there are similarities. We still talk about the similarities too, but firstly, let's talk about the difference. The difference between the male and female reproductive organ. Number one, testes are in scrotal sac located outside the body. All the male knows that the testes, this is the word, they are always inside the what? A scrotal sac located outside the body. While the ovaries are located inside the body. The male reproductive organ of a man or a male reproductive organ is located outside the body system in the scrotal sac, while the female reproductive organ is located inside the body, which is located inside the body, or ovary, which is located inside the body. Sorry. Epididymis is present. Epididymis is present. That epididymis helps to what? To store the sperm. That is the work of the epididymis. It helps to preserve the sperm and store it. And epididymis is absent inside the female reproductive organ. Sperm cell pass out through the urethra. The sperm cell pass out through the urethra. Ova passes into the oviduct where they are fertilized. This one does not come out at all. It's inside the oviduct, inside the womb, inside the female reproductive organ, and it's where it is being fertilized. The sperm goes into the to the oviduct to fertilize the ova. And sperm duct is present. Sperm duct is present. Sperm duct is absent in the female reproductive organ, but it is present in the male reproductive organ. Seminal vesicle is also present in the male reproductive organ, while it is absent in the female reproductive organ. Prostate gland is present in the male reproductive organ, but is absent in the female reproductive organ. Vulva is absent in the male reproductive organ, but it is present in the female reproductive organ. Likewise, Cowper's gland is present in the male reproductive organ, but it is absent in the female reproductive organ. Penis is present in the male reproductive organ, but it is absent in the female reproductive organ. Or have you ever seen a female that has a penis? I think it is a no. Cervix is absent inside the male reproductive organ, but it is present in the female reproductive organ. Oviduct is also absent in the male reproductive organ, but it is present in the female reproductive organ. Uterus is absent in the male reproductive organ, but it is present in the female reproductive organ. Sorry for that. Vagina is absent in the male reproductive organ, but it is present in the female reproductive organ. Now, this is a good example of a human gonad, which is the testis and the ovary. You can see how the testis looks like. We have the efferent duct, we have the epididymis where the sperm is being stored, we have the vas deferens, and we have the prostate gland. Here we have the fallopian tube under the female, which is the ovary, female reproductive organ. We have the ovary, we have the egg and the Graafian follicle. This is what ruptures that brings out the ova, that brings out a egg. When this rupture, it brings out the egg. So that is the structure of human reproductive organ. Now let's talk about the similarity. We're talking about the big difference between male and female reproductive organ. Let's talk about the similarities. Both reproductive organs have the following: gonad or sex organs. Gonad or sex organ. And this is what we just saw now. This is for the male and this is for the female. This is the sex organ for the male. This is the sex organ for the female. Now, gametes are produced by gonads. These gonads are the one responsible for production of the gamete, the one that is responsible for the ova or the ovary in the female animal, while the one that is responsible for the production of sperm in the male animal. They have external openings. Yes, they have external opening. The male has the urethra through the penis, while the female has the vagina. They both have the external openings. They have gonads acting as ductless endocrine gland. They both have gonads acting as what? Ductless gland. That one is also the similarities between the male and the female organ. Now, after doing all this, or after explaining all this, there is the need for us to check. Maybe we really understand what we've been doing, and we are virtually at the end of the topic. Now, mention 3 differences between male and female reproductive organ. That's what we just talked about. You should be able to do that. Mention 3 similarities found in the comparison of male and female reproductive organ. We should be able to do that also. In what way does male reproductive organ function as an endocrine gland? I need you to find out that. I'm giving you that as an assignment. In what way does the male reproductive organ function as an endocrine gland? State the function of the following part of the reproductive system of birds. State the function of the following part of the reproductive system of birds. We have the mammals and fish. The reproductive system of birds, mammals, and fish. I want you to state the function of claspers, the function of uterus, the function of cloaca, the function of oviduct, the function of seminal vesicle, and the function of ovum. Another one is briefly discuss the structural difference in the male and female gametes of mammals. Briefly discuss the structural difference in the male and female gametes of mammals. State 4 similarities and 5 differences between the reproductive organ of male and female animal. I think we've also stated that as the first evaluation, so you don't need to do that again. Now, assignment. I need you to draw and label the ovum and sperm. Now you get it across to me through my WhatsApp page. Draw it, snap it, and send it to me. And this should be submitted latest Saturday this week. Draw and label the ovum and sperm. So with this, we come to the end of today's lesson. Thank you very much for your rapt attention. Till I see you in the next class. My name still remains Tilo Samson Adeshino. Thank you and God bless.